Amanda?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Whitney. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Come and have a seat right here. So how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So is this your first time at the Career and Professional Development Center?
It is.
Okay, awesome. So what brings you in today?
Well, I'm graduating undergrad, and I just want to see, what I should do for my future. Like, go to grad school, go straight into work, what to do, because I'm not necessarily sure yet.
Sure. Okay. Well, that's definitely something that we can explore here today. So what we do here at the Career and Professional Development Center is we look at who you are as a person. So we look at what your values are, your hobbies, and really get a holistic view of yourself. And then what we like to do is look at some different career options that that match your personality and your interests and that sort of thing. And then we'll explore all of those careers and the different factors involved with those. And then what we'll do is we'll talk about how to make a good career decision based on your personal preferences and that sort of thing.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, and so then what we'll do in later sessions is we'll review some assessments, career assessments that you'll do later, and we'll review those together pretty in depth. And then after that, we'll talk about the steps that you need to take to be able to act on those careers.
Okay.
To choose them. Okay.
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay. So, but before we get started, I kind of want to just get to know you.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I went to undergrad at Penn State.
Okay.
I majored in psychology.
Okay.
While I was there. When I originally got there, I thought I was going to be a double major in psychology and criminal justice, but I couldn't finish it, especially with my last 2 years. So when I was a junior and a senior, I was an undergraduate researcher in a lab called Project Siesta, which we looked at a lot of data with babies between the ages of newborn and like 24 months.
Okay.
And we coded like their nighttime sleep patterns, and we did a lot of strange situations to look at their attachment, mostly with their mothers, their primary caregivers, because there wasn't a lot of children that had, fathers as their primary caregivers.
Okay.
So I did that for 2 years, and then my senior year I became president of an organization called PsyChi, which is the National Honor Society in Psychology. So that took up a lot of my time too. Scheduling professors and guest speakers to come in to speak to our members, organizing the ceremonies for newly inducted members. I planned a research conference in the spring semester. And a lot of the reason why I came in here today is because I was originally going to go for my PhD in clinical psychology, but the application was due in December, and I missed that deadline. So I'm nervously trying to find something that I should pursue.
Okay. So it sounds like you definitely had a lot of leadership experience with your activities. Between working in a lab just takes leadership itself. It actually sounds like a really interesting study, but then being a psychi officer, that's definitely time consuming.
Very.
I hear ya. So, so you were very involved in academic activities on campus. Were there any social activities that you were involved in?
So before I got into the research lab in the Honor Society, there's another National Honor Society of Leadership and Success that I was a part of. But before that, so my freshman and sophomore year, I was part of a program called SPA, so the Student Programming Association.
Okay.
So I'm really interested in music, and that was a lot of the stuff that they did. We planned a lot of concerts, a lot of comedians, different things to come in, magicians, and I got to meet a lot of famous people and interact with them on that professional level and set up their stages, make sure all their scheduling was done correctly so that they would get on the stage at the right time, get off at the right time. They weren't disturbed by the other students during their time. So that was an organization that I was part of. I was part of Best Buddies for a year, which is an organization that helps, the mentally disabled, and just become a friend to them, kind of like big brothers, big sisters.
Okay. All right. So you had a lot of social experience as well with the organization. So tell me about some of your friends.
I made a lot of good friends during my undergrad, and they're mostly my friends now. A lot of my friends from high school I don't talk to anymore, just mostly because I was from a small town and we all went to different areas. I went to Penn State, Maine, so that was about 3 hours from home, and we just kind of separated. But I'm still really good friends, and I plan on being really good friends with my friends that I made freshman year in undergrad. We all lived on the same floor and in the freshman dorms and became really close that way.
Good, good. So, tell me a little bit about your family. Do you live with them?
When I was at undergrad, so Penn State I don't, but when I go back home for like summer and like breaks, I live with my mom, my stepdad, and my 2 sisters. My father passed away before my junior year of college, so that's who I live with. But I lived with them. I didn't live with my father because my mom had custody of me, and that's just where I stayed.
Okay.
My sisters are younger than me significantly. They're, I guess you can say, my half sisters.
Okay.
So 14 and 10. So they're really younger than me.
I bet they look up to you a lot, though.
They do.
You're like their cool role model. Awesome. So, tell me, do you have any health or physical?
I don't have anything personally right now, but obviously, like, my dad passed away unexpectedly from a heart attack, so that's going to be a concern probably later in life. And my mom also had thyroid cancer, so that's also a thing. So there's some physical, possibly health issues that may happen later in the future based on like my genetic history.
So on the horizon, you just need to monitor. Okay. Sounds good. And then tell me, have you had any jobs? I know you were very involved on campus academically and socially, but did you have any part-time job or?
Not while I was in school. Over summer breaks, I worked. Like after my freshman year, I worked at the Dollar Tree near my home, and then another year I worked at Teletech. That was my sophomore year before my junior year, and I had to quit that because they wouldn't give me the time off that I needed to grieve my father's death, so they fired me.
Oh my.
Yeah. and then I worked my junior year summer the summer before my junior, or somewhere in there. I worked at PennDOT as like a flagger girl.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right, so you've had a lot of different
random job experiences.
But hey, you have the experience in a bunch of different areas that most people probably don't have, so that can work to your advantage. Okay, so now that I know a little bit about you, so I'll take all of that information, how you were a psychology major at Penn State, how you started out with crime and justice as a dual major type deal, how you were involved in your research lab, Project Siesta, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you were involved in that. You were a Psych leader. Our officer, you were involved in another honor society. I mean, you just did it all. Plus, you had all of your different job experiences, and it sounds like you've made a lot of friends, and it sounds like you've got a really great family, and I'm sorry to hear about your dad. But I will take all of that information, and I'll keep that in mind as we work through all of our career exploration. But what I'm going to have you do in the meantime, before we meet next, is do some career assessments. So it'll be like a personality inventory. It'll look at some of your skills, your interests, and what it'll do is take that information and match it up to some possible career options. And then we'll look at those together in depth, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, that sounds great.
Awesome. What questions do you have?
None right now, I don't think.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you next time. Okay. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
Welcome back. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good. So, how did all those career assessments go that I had you take?
They were good. They were really easy. I got to do a lot of self-exploration through it.
Good. Good. No difficulty?
No difficulty.
Awesome. Okay, so I actually have all of your results right here. So what we'll do is we'll go over them, and then we'll look at some different career options that popped up that corresponded with the results.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the first thing that you did was the career planning status summary. So that really looked at where you were in terms of your career exploration, and you actually scored really high on this first category, which was self-assessment, meaning that you're very involved in looking at your own interests and your own values in terms of when you're looking at different careers. So you want to make sure that your values are matching up with your career options. So that's definitely very good that you scored so high on there. And then the next category was career exploration, meaning that you are looking at comparing and evaluating different occupations in the major areas of study that appeal to you, and it just you're very involved in looking at those different options. So again, you scored very high on that, another good thing. You also scored very high with a 4.17 as compared to a 4.13 with the others on your career planning satisfaction. So you indicated that you haven't really had any problems so far in terms of your career exploration and looking at different options and looking at your own values and interests.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So basically, this looks very good. You've got good stability, and you just have good clarity of your current and future goals right now. So you've got a pretty good identity. Would you say that's?
Yeah, I think I agree.
You're good. You're stable. Okay. So now the next thing that you did were your academic strengths and weaknesses. So that really identified which classes you excelled in and which ones you struggled with a little bit. So you indicated that you excel in the social sciences, so psychology, philosophy, religion. And that actually corresponds really well with your major of psychology and your previous dual major of criminology. So you excelled in those classes. Did you like them or?
Yeah, I liked all those classes. I took a philosophy class, religion classes, sociology classes, all pretty much the same.
Okay, so you took a whole bunch of social sciences. Okay.
Yes.
So you like them, you excelled them. You also indicated that you do pretty well in English, foreign languages, language arts, math, phys ed, and that you do okay in fine art, biology, and environmental science, physical science like chemistry, physics, and then social studies. And then you said that you never took a class in art, performing art, business, computers, and technology, and music. Which I found the music a little interesting because you said you liked music in our first session.
Yeah, I think it was just because the music was more of like a hobby type thing.
A social thing.
So with the spa, I worked with music like as in like listening rather than learning about it.
Right. Okay, I gotcha. So the next assessment that you took was the work profile or work interest profile, and so this assessment is actually based on a theorist in career counseling by the name of Holland. And so what Holland's idea is that everybody is categorized into one of 6 personalities. So social, investigative, enterprising, conventional, realistic, and artistic. So basically what you did is you took this summary or this assessment, and it came out that you're very social. You have a very social personality, and that your next highest personality traits are investigative and enterprising. And so what Holland said is that what you want is a career that matches your personality with its environment. So you want some congruence there. You want your personality to match your work environment, because then you'll really thrive and be more likely to be happy with your career.
That makes sense.
Okay? So let's go over some of your personality characteristics. So you're very social. So you like to work with others, work collaboratively to solve problems, basically work in groups. You're very cooperative, you're friendly, very understanding, and you enjoy teaching, caring for others, volunteering, mediating disputes, and meeting new people. Does that sound pretty consistent?
Sounds, perfectly like me. Describes me to a T pretty much.
That's what I thought, especially based on everything that we talked about in that first session.
Yeah.
Okay, so then your next highest personality was investigative, meaning that you like to work with ideas and solve puzzles and different problems, which actually I thought corresponded pretty well with working in a lab because,
Research, working with
exactly,
data and stuff.
Exactly. And so then your next highest personality trait was enterprising. So basically the persuader. So you enjoy influencing others, being in a leadership position, which you've demonstrated multiple times through your undergraduate career. Very talkative, you're very energetic. Again, interacting with people, trying to get them to see your point of view.
Yeah.
And so if you look at, Holland created this hexagon where each vertex is one of the different personalities. And so you can see right here between enterprising and social, the closer the vertices are, the more consistent your personality. So very, very, very consistent through here. You have a little bit more distance between social and investigative, and you know that might be because investigative people like to work with more ideas and with problems, whereas your social and enterprising work more with people. But you know, again, your distance is not that big, so very big consistency and not that much differentiation between your social and investigative.
Okay, that's good.
Okay? And so then what you did was the leisure interest profile summary, which basically the same thing. Rather than looking at careers, you looked at hobbies, that sort of thing, things that you do outside of an academic or work setting. So again, very consistent. You scored highest on social, again, out of the ballpark, educational, and leading, which educational actually corresponds with investigative, and leading corresponds with enterprising. So again, you enjoy helping people and advising people through social. You're responsible, warm, cooperative. And then for educational, ideas and thinking, again, you like to observe and learn and investigate. Very analytical and curious. And then for enterprising, again, trying to get people to see your point of view, and persuading people.
Okay.
So very consistent in both profiles. You actually scored a lot higher in social compared to the other two categories. And so this sort of goes along with your personality type. So then you took a personality type assessment that looked at all of the different questions that you answered, and it says that you like to focus your attention on the exploration of new ideas, and that can lead to improvements that benefit people. So again, we're going back to social, helping people. So very, very consistent between all of your assessments. You're open-minded, you're flexible, and you're committed to project goals. And again, you like to associate with people.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of consistency. In terms of choosing your career, it says that you are attracted to occupations that make contribution to society.
Mm-hmm.
Is that pretty consistent?
Yeah.
Okay. And you like to help people develop their abilities and improve their knowledge and the well-being of others. So, and actually those occupations are found in the fields of teaching, counseling, health sciences, literature, art, and psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So we're right back there with your major,
Yeah,
with psychology.
Psych was obviously a good fit.
Yep, I would say so. And you know, then back here you did your skills profile summary, and so you had to select your top 3 skills out of that whole list that you thought you had. We go back to helping. So again, very social, helping others, listening, paying attention to what other people are saying and taking the time to understand those points that are being made. Very social again. So you're listening, you're really interacting with people. And then reasoning, so using logic to identify the strengths and weaknesses of alternative solutions. And that reasoning really is demonstrated in investigative, that investigative personality type, which is demonstrated through your research that you've
learning
had.
data and stuff, making connections.
Right. So all of these skills are actually very consistent and match any and all of your personality.
Okay, that's good.
And that's very good. So you also took another personality assessment, which is based on the Myers-Briggs personality assessment. And what that looks at are different preferences of personality. And so what you indicated was that you have an ENFJ personality, meaning that you are 14% extroverted, meaning you like to work with your people in your outer world. So you don't like to stay to yourself. You're very you very like a lot of social interaction. So again, very consistent with what we've seen on our other assessments. You're very intuitive, so that means that you like to look at patterns and possibilities and thinking about different meanings of things.
Mm-hmm.
Then with feeling, that means that you tend to make decisions with others in mind, and you're very tactful. So you scored very high on feeling with 75%. For judging, that just means that you like decision making, you like task orientation and order. And then it also says that you are the diplomat or the protagonist. Okay, so I'm just going to go over some brief things about this because it's very, very consistent with your other assessments
I'm
that
good.
you've taken. So, you're a natural born leader, full of passion and charisma. Again, we've seen that multiple times through all of the assessments. Guiding others to work together to improve themselves and their community. So, altruism, and you know what? We actually see altruism over here when we look at your values. Here they are. Thank you. So, your values, altruism, and we'll come back to these. Okay. The interest that you have in others is genuine. And we've seen that in all of these other assessments again. So some of your strengths are that you're tolerant, so you're a team player. You're reliable, you're charismatic, so you've got charm, you're popular. Again, that actually even goes with enterprising as well.
Yeah.
You're altruistic, and you're a natural leader. Okay, now some of these weaknesses, overly idealistic. You can be caught off guard when you find that something is, that you were misunderstanding, that sort of thing that can kind of throw you off according to this. You're too selfless and too sensitive. You have a fluctuating self-esteem and you struggle to make tough decisions. Do any of those, do you agree with any of them?
I think I definitely agree with all of them. I feel like I would put people probably before myself, so too selfless.
Mm-hmm.
I do fluctuate with my self-esteem. Sometimes like it's like good day, sometimes it's a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
Sensitive, I feel like I get hurt easily by people. Like they just like say something that
Mm-hmm.
I take the wrong way and I take it as hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are pretty good weaknesses I
Pretty
see about.
accurate, but you know what? You can always spin a weakness to be a strength.
Yes.
So, don't let that get you down. Okay, so then in terms of your careers, right here, helping other people. So we're back to everything else that we've gone over. So social and religious work, teaching, counseling, advising. You've got the social skills, you've got the emotional intelligence to be able to do those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
Some other things that they said are sales representatives and advertising consultants. That kind of goes along with enterprising.
I don't think I really see myself as a sales representative.
Okay, so we're going back to these different like counseling.
Yeah, I
and
like those
teaching.
ones more.
Okay, so we have an interest in counseling.
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. So then, in terms of the workplace, it says that you like to thrive in many. You can thrive in many roles. So you're flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take on different roles very easily. You're hardworking. You're reliable. You're easy to help, or eager to help. Very tolerant, and you're open-minded. Okay.
Mhm.
So that ENFJ personality is very consistent with all of these.
Yes.
And so now, like I said, I want to go back to your values profile. And so you indicated that these values are what's important to you. And so, honestly, values can really drive your career choice. Because that's what's important to you personally. Mm-hmm. So you want to see that come out in your career. So you chose altruism and helping society. So doing something for the common good. Helping others, whether it be individually, in small groups, directly or indirectly. And then independence, so being able to decide how to get something done without significant direction from someone else. And I actually found this one a little bit interesting compared to your social personality and the Myers-Briggs personality assessment, because those tend to say you like to work in groups,
Mm-hmm.
very collaborative. And this one, you kind of indicated maybe not. Do you want to explain that, or why do you think that is?
I think because, like, ultimately I kind of want to own my own business type deal. Like,
Mhm.
maybe, like, because I want to do psych, so maybe my own private practice one day, like, where I'm, like, kind of like my boss, or, like, I decide, like, what it, like, goes with. But still have, like, colleagues, but still be independent because it's mine, I guess you
Mhm.
could say.
Okay. All right. Well, but that still makes sense, and it's okay to have different values. That
Mhm.
It's okay. So then, what you did was picked some careers because each assessment had corresponding career options.
Right.
And so then you actually picked your top 5 careers, and they're all very, very similar,
Right.
all within the realm of counseling. So career counselor, clinical psychologist, counseling psychologist, mental health counselor, and substance abuse counselor. And these actually all involve psychology as a major, which is very good. Did you want to look at anyone in particular in depth?
Probably the mental health counselor. I feel like that
Okay.
one would be probably the best option so far. Like going to grad school, not necessarily a PhD program, like a master's.
Okay. All right, so let's look at that. And I'm actually going to show you, this is the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And what you can do is you can search a career by field, by median salary, anything like that. But I actually have the mental health mental health counselors pulled up right here. And so you can see here what their summary is. And so what they do is they help people manage and overcome mental and emotional disorders and problems with their family and their relationships. They listen to clients and ask questions and help their clients understand their problems and develop strategies to improve their lives.
That sounds exactly like all the personality stuff and assessments that we took.
Awesome. And then you can actually work in a private practice or a mental health center. So there you go.
Independence.
Yep, exactly. And then if you want to look more specifically, here are all of their duties that they do. And you can actually provide treatment to individuals, families, couples, and groups
Okay.
as a counselor. And then each tab just provides a little bit more information. So work environment, how to become one. This is something you might want to look at. So in terms of education, you do have to have a master's degree along with the appropriate licenses for the state.
Okay.
So that's something that you want to look into in terms of programs around that you might be interested in applying to, if this is the route that you want to take. And then you can look at the job outlook, and it's actually a growing field, so that's another positive.
Good.
And then you can click on similar occupations right here on this tab, and it shows all of the different occupations that are similar but that are a little bit different. So again, actually all of these other careers that you looked at are similar on here. So they're very related. So again, we have consistency not only with your own personality, but with the career choices that you've chosen. So this is all very good. So what I'm going to have you do is look at this Occupational Outlook Handbook. Maybe explore some of these other options and really decide on what career you think you might want to pursue.
Okay.
Bring those ideas back, and then we'll look into setting up maybe a cover letter, a resume, looking at the application processes, because all of these careers actually require graduate level study.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
All right, so, and if you have a resume or a cover letter already done, feel free to bring that in and we'll review it next week.
Okay, that sounds
Okay? Do you have any questions?
great. Nope, not right now.
Okay, all right, sounds good. See you next week.
See ya.
Hi, Amanda. Come on in.
Thanks.
I see you found our new office space.
I did.
You want to have a seat right here? Okay. Okay, so last time we talked, you decided you wanted to do clinical mental health counseling.
Yeah, that's what I decided to do.
Okay, we're still okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so our next step then would be identifying a counseling program that would be a good fit for you.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to make sure is when you're looking for different counseling programs, you want to make sure that they're K-CREP accredited, because otherwise you might have issues with licensure and that sort of thing further on down the road if the program's not accredited.
Okay, so K-CREP accredited.
K-CREP accredited. So what I have here is I've pulled up K-CREP's website, so it's just kcrep.org.
Okay.
And you can actually search for programs based on state, program type, that sort of thing. So I think what we first want to identify is where you would like to stay or go for the program.
So because I was away for 4 years of undergrad, I'm thinking maybe staying at home, so somewhere close to, Uniontown, Pennsylvania, and the surrounding Pittsburgh area.
Sure, okay. All right, well, I know right off the bat that Duquesne and Cal U have programs.
Okay. And Duquesne's in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes, so Duquesne is in Pittsburgh, Cal is in California, PA, so it's not going to be too far for you. The Pittsburgh is going to be a little bit more of a drive, but let's see. So, yeah, Edinburgh would not be very close for you.
No.
Okay, so we're down to Cal U and Duquesne are going to be your options in this area.
Okay.
Okay, so look, the links are already right here.
That's
All you have to do is click the website and it takes you right to their page. Okay. Alright, let's search Cal U, counseling. Okay. Department of Education. Okay, so if we look at their website, it looks pretty organized.
Mm-hmm.
Very easy to navigate. Okay, so down here, real big, these are the application deadlines.
Okay.
So
I would probably want a fall start, so.
right, so you're probably going to want to have everything in by February 15th. That's for the early admission. If you wait,
July 1st.
July 1st, that's pushing it. That's really close to the start of the fall semester.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably be proactive and just get your materials in early.
Mm-hmm.
That
so I'm
way,
not waiting till like after July.
Yeah. That you have about a month between submitting your stuff and finding out if you're going to start.
Yeah.
Okay, so right here, this is just all of your information about the program. So it's going to be a Master of Science. And what we want to look for are the application requirements. So if you want to go up here to admissions, this is going to tell you all of the materials that you need within your application and how to apply.
Mm-hmm.
So for your master's, you need to have a bachelor's degree GPA of not 2.9. Okay?
Yeah.
And you're in good shape for that. So
Yeah.
you're okay. You also need to have your official transcripts from Penn State sent over.
Okay.
And you need to have 2 professional recommendations. So you can, whether it be professors, advisors, somebody from Penn State, or even from work that you think would write you a good letter. You probably want to ask them relatively soon. Give them probably a month's notice to get the letter written.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so I'd probably, ask my advisor for Psychi and then my, research lab.
Perfect. Yeah, those are 2 really good people. So I would get in contact with them
Mhm.
and ask them about the letters. And then they also want a 1-page resume.
Okay.
Okay, so if that's something that you want to, create with me, we can do that and we'll get it to 1 page and format
Oh,
it
yeah, nice.
appropriately. So you'll have to include that. And then you also need to include a 1,000-word psychobiography. And the instructions for that, it looks like, are right here in this handbook. But basically, a psychobiography is going to identify how you've developed and how you really came to terms with the fact that you want to be a counselor.
Mhm.
It's basically just a story of how you came to where you are right now.
Right.
Okay?
Like, why am I interested?
Right,
At this
exactly.
point?
Exactly. So it's going to be about 1,000 words, so 4-ish double-spaced pages. So if you actually want to draft that up and bring it in, I can help you look at it. And then if you want to take it to the Writing Center or some other places on campus, I can hook you up with some of those
So
resources.
maybe we can make another appointment,
Right.
resume review, and then the psychobiography
Yes.
review type thing.
Yes.
Make sure everything's good.
Yeah. That's going to be the plan. Now, if we look at Duquesne's website, they are actually, instead of a Master of Science like you have at Cal, you're going to have a Master of Science in Education, so an
Okay.
MSEd. Okay? So, if we look at their website, here is all of their application information. Well, that's a link to it. Let's see. application procedures down here at the bottom. Okay, so these are all the steps that you're going to want to take. So you have to complete an overall university application, which it didn't say that on Cal's website, but typically you have to do a general application to the university as a whole.
Okay.
And then you do a specific, or either within that overall application you identify what program you're applying for, or sometimes like with Duquesne they have a separate application. So you'll do the university application and then you'll do the counselor education application as well.
And there's usually a fee that goes with that too.
Right, yes. With both of them, I suppose. I know at Cal, their application fee is embedded within their university application. So it'll prompt you to pay before you can even submit it. Yeah, so, and I'm pretty sure that's how Duquesne's is going to work as well. It's pretty standard. So after you do the university application and the program application, then you'll want to get an academic recommendation from a former or current professor.
Okay.
Okay? So just a regular letter of rec. And then they also want you to do a professional evaluation and recommendation form to a professional similar or familiar with you. So that also could be a professor, especially if you're coming straight out of undergrad.
Okay.
Or it could be a former boss or supervisor, someone who would really evaluate your potential as a future counselor.
Okay.
Okay?
So if I was like working in like some kind of psych-related field after not applying like directly after, that would be a good person.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And these are actually recommendation forms rather than just asking for a letter. So you'll want to send these specific links to whoever you're having do the recommendation, and they'll be able to do everything online rather than having to send in a paper copy of a letter.
Okay.
Okay?
So they have a set requirement of actually what needs to go in that letter.
Yep. And if you click right here, it'll provide you the link, and that's something that you could just email out.
Okay.
And then you also have to have your official transcripts sent to the graduate office.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just those 5 steps right here. And then looks like this application deadline to be able to start in the fall is March 1st.
Okay.
Okay?
A little bit sooner than the Cal.
Yes. Or it's after if you do the early admission for Cal.
Okay. Yeah.
So February, then March. Now, for the application, or for the interview, Duquesne does require a group interview prior to being admitted into the program.
Okay.
Cal does not require an interview. They, sometimes if they look at something within your application and they have a question about it or something like that, then they'll set up in an interview on an individual basis.
Okay.
But it's not something that's required for everybody.
Okay.
So you will have to do the group interview though at Duquesne.
Okay.
Okay? So those are just basically all of your steps. Because you meet the GPA requirement at Cal, you don't have to take any sort of entrance exam, and it's the same thing with Duquesne. So you're in good shape.
Good.
Yeah, you don't have to take either of them. Okay?
Yep.
Although at Duquesne you do have to have a 3.0 rather than a 2.9, but you're
Still covered.
You're still covered. Okay? So that's basically what we want to do at this point. So, and I can email you the links to all of the websites that we looked at. That way you can look at them on your own and start pulling some of the materials together. But the first thing I would do is get the recommendation form sent out, or asking your professors to write the letters. That way you're giving them enough time and heads up to be able to get everything done before the deadline.
Right.
Okay?
And just further research on these 2 programs.
Right.
Just to see which one fits better.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely look at their website. There's links on here if you want to request information. They'll be able to get back to you probably with, more information in depth about the programs. That way you can really compare and contrast what you think. I mean, even if you are leaning towards one program over the other, I would still apply to both just so you have a backup with one or the other. And then, I mean, even if you think, you might lean towards Cal and you don't really want to go to Duquesne, I would still recommend going to the interview. That way, at least you're getting on campus and you're seeing what the campus is like,
Mhm.
seeing the professors, potential classmates, and I would even visit Cal's campus as well, just to see if that's the type of environment
Yeah,
that
see
you
if
would
the
want to be in.
environment
Because they're
even
very
fits it.
different. 'Cause Duquesne is a private university, and Cal is a state-funded
Right.
university. So there is going to be some differences also in tuition as well. Duquesne's going to be a lot more expensive
Right.
compared to Cal, but another thing you'll want to look into are whether or not there are different graduate assistantships available at either school and your likelihood of being able to get one or the other.
Mhm.
So those are just things that you want to think about, and all of that information is on their website, and I'll send that to you.
Awesome, that'd be
Okay?
great.
So what questions do you have?
Nothing really. Just want to make sure that I'll start working on my resume and the psychobiography.
Okay.
And then
Good.
scheduling another appointment, making sure everything's okay, and making sure I have everything completed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that, and then after that, we'll wait, see what happens.
Patiently wait.
Yep, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Amanda.
You're welcome.